Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the FPL Affairs podcast, the podcast that strips back and lays bare our season-long love affair with FPL. In our latest game week talking points video, the FPL Affairs Peacock and myself discuss 5 different topics that game week 4 unveiled. Before we get started, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for all of our content, and click that bell for notifications each time we release something new. Anyway, enough of my small talk. Let's get cracking.
And there's Mo Salah. There goes Haaland. He's on his way again. He's hungry. He's scored. Ice cold precision from Palmer. Oh, Saka! That is a diamond of a goal.
Greetings everybody, welcome to our Game Week 4 Talking Points video where basically we just cover the main topics from Game Week 4. That's with me, Matt, aka the FPL Affairs Magpie, and joining me is the FPL Affairs Peacock, which is his alias, Andrew. Unfortunately, Bossman Lewis can no longer join us, he's got a few things to sort out. Personally, I think he just is feeling a bit tired and wants to go back to bed. Possibly. And that's what we think FPL Affairs Dove Mohammed has done. Bless him. Tried to join us for the Game Week 4 unwrapped team thing, but we had some connection trouble, which I think I managed to sort out. But yeah, he's probably dozed off.
I think he slipped back. It is about 5:30 in the morning there now. So
yeah, probably is, to be fair.
I blame him.
Wakey time. Anyway, we got 5 main talking points we've thought of, which we will get cracking and get our opinions on. All right, so our Game Week 4 talking points with Joachim Andersen and Van de Ven on the thumbnail. They are part of our first talking point, really, which is it time for us all to get in 5 DEFCON defender monsters, really? What are your thoughts initially?
Yeah, well, personally, I'm gonna go full on DEFCON defenders, and I mean, on top of that, you've got your DEFCON midfielders as well. So I think it's time for a change with these DEFCON points. I don't think it's going to be. Previous seasons, you've always gone for your big named defenders, haven't you? Like your Gabriel, your Saliba, your Virgil van Dijks. But it seems to me like this season, it's your less known, like your mid-tables, the ones who are defending more, the ones who have got more attacking coming their way, who are sitting back. So, yeah, for me, I mean, I'm wildcarding this week, and I've focused on mainly your DEFCON defenders and midfielders.
Which defenders have you got in?
So, right, let me just, because it's still a new team, so I'm just gonna refer. So at the minute, I've got Ramiro, who stays in my team from last week, who scored 12 points last week. Was it 12? It was 12, wasn't it? Yeah. And then Calafiore from Arsenal, Lacroix from Palace, and then I'm doubling up on Spurs, which I'm now putting in Van de Ven and Senesi from Bournemouth.
Oh yeah, I think he's got the most.
I think he's got like 55, is it?
I think he's got the
55 DEFCON points he's got this season so far.
Well, he's I think he's got them in every game, every match. He's reached the 10-point threshold.
Yeah. If not more, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's down to just him and Tarkowski that are the only ones that have the only defenders that have reached 10 in every one of the opening 4 game weeks.
Yeah. I'm still debating Tarkowski but it's just his fixtures. I'm like, oh. Whereas like Senesi, he can get you DEFCONs, but he can get you attacking returns as well. So that's my kind of. I know Tarkowski can as well because he gets the set piece. He's up for the set pieces mainly. But yeah, that's the way I'm going. I'm going 5 at the back.
So who's your 5th defender, or did you tell me 5?
Yeah, I told you 5. Calafiore, Lacroix, Ramiro, Van de Ven, and Senesi.
So will you most likely be playing what, 4 or 5 every single week? Is that your intention?
Yeah, because I mean my bench isn't great, but I mean I'll be incurring some free transfers, so that'll be a plus. And then I've gone for Casado in midfield along with Semenyo and Salah at the minute. So I've Casado and Semenyo have also, well, especially Casado has been getting them DEFCONs as well. He's played every minute of every game so far as well. And I think, what was it? I think he's scored two as well already. Has he scored
Yeah,
two?
he has. Where I
Yeah.
think he only got one throughout the whole of last season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So he's basically doubled his goal tally from the whole last season in the first four
yeah,
game weeks.
I've just managed to. I found this earlier this evening. I was hoping to get it in the slides, but unfortunately wasn't able to in time. I saw an image posted by the Premier League, and I think it was created by FPL Kareem, so Karim,
Yeah.
and it's basically a DEFCON stats sheet for the opening four
Okay.
game weeks. Like, so the most DEFCON achieved from defenders, the most DEFCON achieved midfielders, and then it's looked at the same but for teams, as in
Okay.
like which teams have got the most number of
Accumulated the most between
players
them.
that have achieved it, and the least as well.
Yeah.
And then he's also put on there the most DEFCON achieved against. So I'm presuming that means you know, if say for example Tarkovsky's reached the DEFCON threshold,
Yeah.
that the opponents that he got those from um,
Right. Okay. Got you.
would
Yeah.
be the ones, and then opposite for the least. Um, the defenders, as we said, Tarkovsky and Senesi have achieved it in all four
Yeah.
games. Anderson of Fulham, Vandenberg of Brentford, and Ekdal of Burnley. Apologies if I
Oh,
haven't butchered that. They've all achieved it in 3 of the 4. There's probably
wow.
bound to be more than just those 3 defenders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Midfielders, Caicedo's the only midfielder that's achieved it 3 times.
Wow.
Then Charlie Adams of Bournemouth, Bruno, Xhaka, and Garner of Everton have all achieved it twice.
Yeah.
There might be
Garner
more
was in my
defenders.
first draft for my wild cards, and then I took him out.
Hmm.
But this
Um,
is what I'm saying. Like, it's the teams that are sitting back more. It's not your high profile teams, like your top six, as it were.
yeah.
It's your teams that are bringing on the attack, sitting back. So yeah, you can get your decent DEFCON points in defense by not actually spending that much either.
Well, looking at the teams, um, as you said about it's the teams that are sitting back and defending, is that in relation to teams, Brentford, 11 players or 11 occurrences, they've achieved DEFCON bonus.
Wow,
Bournemouth on 9 occasions, Everton on 9, Sunderland on 9, and Burnley on 8.
wow. So
And
yeah,
then as for the least, so which, as you said, is likely to be the high possession based players
yeah,
because the defenders aren't going to get DEFCON if they've already got the ball.
no, exactly.
Spurs, Villa, Liverpool, Man City, and
Yeah,
surprisingly, West Ham.
really?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose everything just leaks through them at the minute, doesn't it?
Mm.
They're not doing great defensively.
Or maybe they can't when they come close to recovering the ball, they give it
Give it
away
away straight. Yeah, yeah.
straight away. Um,
No, it's
but yeah, you'd argue that's down to um, and therefore a lot and the teams which people have achieved DEFCON against, Villa 12. So players have managed to achieve DEFCON points when their opponents have been Villa, Fulham, Manchester United, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
wow.
So in that respect, I think what I learned from that is that if you've got defenders in your squad that have got a fixture against Villa, Fulham, Man United, Liverpool, or Chelsea, then play them
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of the way they're going to play, because of the opponent they're up against. They're going to be defending more, and therefore they've got a better chance of getting DEFCON returns.
yeah.
And
I mean, they
likewise,
might concede a couple, but
yeah.
you can also get them points back with the two DEFCON points.
Mm. And as there's been quite a lot of clean sheets and tighter defences,
Mm.
would be to target any of if any of those following teams I mentioned before, Brentford, Bournemouth, Everton, Sunderland, Burnley. If you've got if like your fifth defender, say plays for Sunderland or Burnley, um, or like Everton Tarkowski,
Yeah,
4.5 million Senesi at Bournemouth.
yeah,
And I think Vandenberg at Brentford, yeah,
yeah.
he's managed it in 3 of the 4 games.
Wow.
Um, would be targeting those as your cheaper end DEFCON players because of who their opponents are.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's whereas before this started, it was all about your attacking fullbacks because they're the ones that got your returns, and you aim to get them from the attacking fullbacks from the top teams or the most attacking teams, that also had a half decent defence, so had a chance of clean sheets. But then
Yeah,
now this is put in, and those players that have picked up the most DEFCON levels are centre backs. So it's kind of really filling our defences with five, with, well, you
yeah.
said you've
No,
got three or
that's
four
right. Yeah, I think
um, defenders that are good for it.
yeah, no, I definitely feel like it's going to be the season for defenders this year because I mean, what we've seen with the forwards, there's not really any outstanding
Mm.
forwards. I don't really know any apart from probably Pedro. Now Haaland, obviously,
Yeah.
you don't even have to mention his name, but it's just literally them two, really.
Mm.
So you may as well fill it with your defence and go for them DEFCON points.
Yeah. And especially if you are, like, if you said you're wild carding, or if anyone else is considering wild carding or so on, is compared to the strikers, the forwards, where there's not many that are actually returning, whereas loads of defenders are,
Yeah,
you can get better value for points in
100%.
defence and with the cheaper end of the cheaper end of the midfield at the moment with your
Yeah,
Caicedos, your Elliot Andersons. Um, who else was it in the middle? Bruno, because he's got set piece
yeah,
aspects and creative aspects and penalties as well as
yeah,
DEFCON. So yeah, I think it provides an avenue to potentially be easier to get both Salah and Haaland in.
yeah.
Um, I did have a look, to be fair. I haven't activated wildcard for game week 5, but I did, despite having a reasonably
Good.
good good
Yeah,
week, I did have a look just to, or a little play about as to what
yeah,
I could get with both of them in.
yeah. I mean, I kind
But
of knee jerked it a little bit, but because I probably wouldn't ideally have wildcarded until next week. But I was so fuming on Sunday, and I was like, I've got to change this team. And yeah, I've even gone for Jaden Anthony for Burnley because he seems to be looking quite decent as well. So and I think he's actually come close to DEFCON points a couple of times. So um, definitely looking that is the way forward is
yeah,
DEFCON defenders rather than
looking
your
at the
high
look
profile ones.
looking at the time, and we've got
Yep,
4 more things to
yep,
cover. With the last one will probably be lengthy. I've put on as number 2. I've tried to be fair, not biased. I've put on Newcastle assets for the first time this season. Now we've got a few tricky fixtures out of the way. We do have Bournemouth away and Arsenal um, at home. The next two league fixtures, as well as
yep.
starting off the Champions League. Um, I don't know. Do you want you start off with your thoughts on Newcastle assets? Have you considered any of them for your wild card?
Um, yeah, so I kind of debated Voldemort obviously up front because he got it on his debut, got the goal. Um, was it his debut? Was it his full debut?
Um, Debut.
It was his actual debut, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I did contemplate him over sort of Eureka TK sort of price margin.
Mm.
How much is he? I can't remember how much it was. Was it
Seven
8.5
seven
or
point
7?
oh.
Oh, 7 point. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So it was kind of like going for that sort of cheaper option over Ekatike. So it was to kind of make me free up some money. So I had that Salah and Haaland money aside.
Mm.
Um, but Harvey Barnes was also one what I looked at. Also Fabian Schär and like Nick Pope. I mean, they're the ones what I've kind of like looked at. Fabian Schär is obviously one who can get attacking returns as well.
Mm.
So and Nick Pope is usually pretty. He's one of these where if you put him in your team, he stays in your team. You don't
Mm.
really need to usually swap him out. But yeah, they're the ones. But yeah, what do you think from a Newcastle fans perspective?
Well, I think the tricky place, and I think more so the next couple of weeks, really, now Europe started, is to see how Eddie's going to rotate the
Yeah,
squad. Barcelona on Thursday, I suspect he'll start with Gordon and Alanga as the
yeah,
wide men up top. Gordon because he's suspended domestically,
yeah. Makes
and
sense.
Alanga was benched at the weekend. Although Murphy was brilliant, I do have a suspicion that Alanga was partly benched um,
To come in for
with
that.
Barcelona in mind. But then,
Yeah,
I mean, Murphy was brilliant at Leeds, very threatening.
yeah.
Uh,
He's so
very
underrated though,
shaky.
is Murphy. Don't you find him like really underrated? I mean, you Newcastle fans probably talk about him a lot, but in general, like football in terms and FPL terms, I had him for quite a long time last season, and
Mm,
I actually got rewarded for keeping hold of him for like I think I kept hold of him for like 9, 10 game weeks last year, and he returned in probably about 5 or 6 of them.
mm. Well, I think a lot of the main difference for him, and he said it himself in interviews. He's quite happy just being old school, getting wide, whipping in a right-footed
Yeah,
cross, or like he did at the weekend, um, doing a more lofted cross. So in that respect, he's a bit more like your old school winger rather than
yeah,
your modern day inverted one that will cut in. Whereas, like we've got Barnes and Gordon on the left, and they're both ones which all look to cut in onto their right foot and shoot.
yeah.
Um, Murphy had a two or three close close calls at the weekend. Um,
Sorry,
your
I'm gonna
interior
light this.
lights disappeared.
There we go. Timed out. Sorry.
Yeah. Um, so, and I imagine that, and Voltemada said in one of his post-match interviews at the weekend that at Stuttgart he was, for someone who's 6'6", at Stuttgart he was working on his heading because
Yeah,
it kind of makes sense. Someone his
that
height,
size.
he's
Yeah,
very much a sort of Peter Crouch-esque with um, good footwork,
yeah,
looking to create and bring others in play. And from what I'd seen on YouTube clips and also from the weekend, is he does tend to drop deep a bit like Harry Kane does.
and picks it
So
up
I just
and yeah,
whereas Isak was quite a sort of selfish one, he was really good dribbler, but
yeah,
was very much wanting to be in and around in
yeah.
the
He
box.
wants to be last man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas what's going to be different, I can imagine there'll be more occasions, but certainly initially, where Voltemada will drop deep and you'll get the wide men
yeah,
um, cutting in behind and him sort of holding the defender off, dropping deep, spins, plays a through ball, and you've got Alanga running onto it and Gordon
yeah,
running onto it.
yeah. I was just
Um,
going to say, Gordon will probably find himself ahead of him most times, won't he? Do
mm,
you think?
what? So I
Yeah, so
suspect.
like Baltimore would be like almost playing the number 10 role and Gordon just ahead of him.
mm, I think it depends on the formation. If we play a
Yeah,
4-3-3 as usual, Voltemada on paper will be playing the number 9, but he'll play it
yeah,
his way and end up dropping into the 10 space, and you'll
yeah,
get the pace of so will be quite direct. He'll get ball into feet and hold it up, but he'll be working on his heading as well, which he said in the post-match interview, um, to make the most of having Murphy in particular putting the crosses in from the right, and
yeah,
Trippier as well
yeah,
when
yeah, yeah,
he gets there. So he's one I've got my eye on. There's sort of pros and cons about. Part of me feels inclined, if I was going to say wild card now, I
yeah,
did put him in that draft as the
yeah,
sort of third striker because with Wissa out for 4 to 6 weeks,
yeah. But
um,
you know that he's going to get his 90.
yeah, because it would very much, you would have thought Wissa with his Premier League experience would be starting and
Yeah,
Baltimore would be coming off the bench, getting minutes
yeah,
here and there
yeah, yeah,
initially, and he'd be weaned in. But
yeah.
because of Wissa being injured, Baltimore's kind of been thrown in at the deep end, so to speak. But
It's
then
not a
he had
bad
a
thing for him though.
pre-season with Stuttgart, and um, he's more match fit anyway. So
Yeah,
these are kind of to watch. The wingers again, they're the ones that are most rotated and they're fit.
yeah,
Um, Defenders, it's going to be interesting because we've got five fit centre backs.
which is a shock for
Lascelles
Newcastle.
Lascelles is rumoured to be going to Turkey because, but I think he's been left out of the European squad anyway.
Right.
Um, Burn and Shah will be no doubt be the starting ones, but we've got
Yeah.
Malik Chiao, which we got from AC Milan,
Oh God, I forgot about him. Yeah.
um, as well as Botman.
Yeah.
So we shall have to
God.
see as to who gets what minutes when for left and right side. But I suspect this week it will be Shah and Burn, and then we'll see how the game goes. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're one of the best statistically in the league defensively. We've got 3 clean sheets from 4 games. The only
Yeah.
goals we've conceded has been to Liverpool, and even then, we were the better team, and they had very few chances. I think they basically had 4 shots on target, and they scored 3 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Um,
that was a crazy game though. In all fairness, and it didn't help going down to 10 men with Gordon getting
hmm,
sent off in that game.
yeah. So
Um,
expected goals conceded. Ours is the lowest, or one of the 2 lowest in the league. I think us and Arsenal probably.
all right. Okay.
So
When's
yeah,
Gordon
I
back? Is that the 28th? Did I see the 28th of September?
mm, for
I
for
thought it
what
was only a 3 game ban, wasn't it?
for Gordon.
Yeah.
Well, it will be a 3 game domestic ban.
Uh,
So that was what Leeds, Wolves,
then
and Bournemouth,
right.
and then he'll be back for the Carabao Cup
Oh, that's
home
it. Yeah.
match against um, Bradford.
Right.
But yeah, so I think for us, there's no necessarily I'll jump straight in because we're not necessarily massive for DEFCON and
No.
in our defence, and I think that's partly because of the quality we've got in midfield.
Yeah.
Um,
That makes sense.
so and our defenders are largely 5.0s, and if you're looking at 5.0s, there are defenders for DEFCONs that are 4.5 or 5.0 that from that respect are more likely from an FPL perspective to get points than ours. So I think
What's
it's
Newcastle's defenders been like on the Defcons? Do you know?
I don't think we've got. I think Burns managed it once, possibly twice. I think Shaw
Okay.
managed it at the weekend.
I think this. Yeah, I think I saw Sean get it. Yeah.
I think it's just been those two. Trippier hasn't.
Okay.
Livramento hasn't.
No.
I don't think. Apologies if I have been incorrect with that. But so
No. I think you're
those are those.
okay.
Moving on. Again, keeping an eye on the time.
Yes.
What about Villa? I'm presuming if as you're on wildcard, you've included 0 Villa
I
assets.
haven't got. Yeah, I haven't got any Villa assets, and to be honest, but you know what? As much as I don't want to, they've got Sunderland, and I think is it Sunderland at home as well? Is it Sunderland at home?
They've got I think they've got Sunderland and Fulham the next 2 games, I think,
Yeah.
and then I think they've possibly got Burnley after that.
Yeah, I know they've got Burnley quite soon after, and I'm like, is Watkins gonna finally show up at some point in the next game week or two? Who knows? Because it's just absolutely baffled me that he hasn't even got one yet,
Mm.
and the same with Rodgers as well. I did look at, to be fair, I did look at Bogard. Is it Bogard? It was Bogard. Villa have Bogard.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, it's to be honest, I'm not really looking at any Villa assets, and until they start showing signs of actually scoring
Mm.
and any returns whatsoever, then they're probably not going to be on my watch list. But I just know I've debated Watkins and Rodgers, not both of them, but one or the other to go into my wildcard draft this week. And I just know Watkins will probably end up scoring something stupid like 2 goals.
That's
And
the
it's
thing with
still
them.
whatever.
That's the thing with Villa and with Emery
Yeah,
and how Watkins did pre-season. You just know with these fixtures coming up, at some point, something will just
tick.
click,
Yeah,
and then they'll just be getting return after return.
yeah,
Um, I've got I've got Watkins still.
yes,
I didn't double up with Rodgers, thankfully.
yeah.
Um,
Have you had him since the start?
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but I think with me, the transfers I've made, I've seen other transfers as higher priorities.
yeah,
Um, like as I said it, if anyone missed our um, game week 4 unwrapped and my team on that, I took a hit last week to remove Ismail Assar and Strand Larsen, both of which are injured without a definitive um, return date.
Recovery time. Yeah,
So I chose to take them out rather than Watkins.
yeah,
Um,
makes sense.
and moving forward, and I'll go into this in more detail when I record the um, transfers video and team selection video with Weasel later in the week. That I'm likely to roll this week because I think more urgent for me is I want to get the free transfers built up to get Haaland in for his Burnley fixture, right, and to do it that way rather than free hit or wildcard in six.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you planning on triple
and
captaining and then?
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's kind of really a shootout between Watkins and Wood as to which one Haaland comes in to replace. It
yeah,
will more than likely be Salah that's going out from midfield.
yeah,
But yeah, so Watkins has kind of got the last hurrah, and it will be a combination of how he does in his next fixture, as
yeah,
well as um, who I'd be able to afford, what my budget would be for
yeah.
that
No, definitely makes
midfield
sense.
replacement.
And
Um,
if you can do it with two free transfers, there's no point using a chip just for that.
mm,
So
so I'm hoping to, as I said, roll this week. So Watkins, um, he may have one more week or 2 more weeks longer to get in because I think probably funds wise and timing wise, I'd be looking at ideally how I'm at. Obviously, juggling funds is a big thing, but
yeah,
it's keeping an eye out on possibly if I can get Isak and Haaland in without wildcarding and just using freeze because
yeah,
Isak won't be starting for a few weeks. Yeah,
no,
bearing in mind he wasn't in the squad at the weekend.
no.
And that kind of nicely leads us into the next topic of the LiVARpool attack.
See what you
Um,
did there.
Sorry for the spelling mistake. But the main reason I think we put this in as well as the bar without going into too much is largely how Salah's, I think for expected non-penalty goals, he's 94th out of all the individuals ranked.
Yeah,
Haaland's like
yeah,
at the top and he's got 0.31 or something.
yeah,
And again, at the weekend, he was anonymous for the game and then he gets a penalty at the end. So I think what I'm taking from it, bearing in mind Ekatike was substituted, Gakpo, Verts, Isak wasn't even in the squad. So it's telling me that basically Salah is the only Liverpool attacking player that's getting 90 plus minutes,
yeah.
which means if you have him in, you've got a good chance of getting that
Getting
95th
something.
minute penalty.
Yeah. I think
Um,
that's happened twice now, isn't it?
two late
They
penalties and a late
two late
assist.
penalties, 90 plus minutes. Or I think the first one was like 84th minute or something like that. But it
Yeah.
was late on in the game.
But either way, late on, which means these late if Liverpool goals, which have won the matches, he's been involved in those goals.
Yeah,
And likely you'd say the attackers that are starting the game, other than Salah, are likely not to finish the game.
yeah.
And I'd still
No,
put Isak in that category. I think when he starts, I don't expect him to be, even when
a
he's fit
90-minute
enough
man straight
to
away.
do the 90 minutes.
Mm. Yeah, no. Especially with the way Ekatike started, I just thought it was going to be an absolute fireball.
Mm.
I thought it was actually, I thought it was just going to ruin it, like just be on the go constantly. But after that, was it the first? I don't think he's. Did he return? I think he might have returned last week.
He didn't in game week 4. I think
Mm,
he did in game week 3.
yeah, but he hasn't had as many returns as what I'd hoped for.
Mm.
So it's kind of like just now. I think Salah, with his price, is pretty much the only one I can really afford now. Like, and he's the only one that looks like returning consistently. Even though there've only been a couple of late goals right at the end of the game, it seems to be the only one that you think, oh yeah, I'm pretty likely to get something
Mm.
from Salah.
Yeah, it's once Liverpool's attack clicks and they're getting goals earlier in the game,
Yeah,
then I think their attacking players will become more appealing. Now I think it's coming down to funds and whether you can afford Salah, which kind of moves on to the fifth and final of our talking points, is
yeah,
whether at the moment it's with you wildcarding and also with people looking at game week 6 and Haaland at home to Burnley, I think at the beginning of the season, people kind of earmarked as possible free hits. Game week 4 for Salah playing Burnley, if you started the season with Haaland, or if you started the season with Salah, then earmark in game week 6 to free hit
Burnley.
Haaland in. But the way things have gone, more and more people, myself included, are thinking more about, well, I want Haaland for more than just that game week
Yeah,
6, the form
yeah,
he's on at the moment, which is why I'm looking at transferring him in. And because
yeah,
of how players are performing in team value and so on, Salah's
yeah,
likely to be a sacrifice. So if you're
yeah. I mean,
wild carding, are you getting both of them in?
I'm looking at it, and it looks likely that I probably will. And even if it means getting rid of one of them in another few weeks, because I think Haaland's got Burnley, Everton. Is it Everton? Yeah, Burnley, Brentford, and Everton, and then Villa, and then Bournemouth in the next like 5 games. So they're quite sort of easy fixtures to kind of put Haaland in there for quite a
Mm.
while. Um, yeah, and I just think he's getting fed the balls now from you got Doku at the weekend, you got Foden back, and it looks like he's actually coming back to his form of a couple of seasons ago,
Yeah.
where you couldn't leave him out. So he's getting them balls fed to him now, which brings me to think: is this going to be the Haaland of a couple of seasons ago, where he just smashes them in for fun?
Mm.
And I think he scored this week alone. What was it? Something like I know he played internationals, but I think it was like something like 9 goals and 2 assists in the
Or
week.
yeah, I think Norway scored 11. Haaland, from that 11, he scored 5 and
Yeah,
assisted 2.
yeah.
So he was involved in 7 of the
So
11.
7 goals. Yeah. So 7 goals this week then probably, yeah.
Yeah, and he looked hungry against
Yeah.
Manchester United, really sort of back to that aspect. And I think luckily with the weekend being Arsenal away, um, it can kind of survive one week. He's not going to be able to
No.
go mad against the Arsenal defence. So we can kind of survive without him for one week, and
Yeah.
Salah's going to be motivated at home in the Merseyside derby.
Yeah. I think Salah he usually returns on a Merseyside derby as well. I think with history being told.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
Um, yeah.
yeah, thank you for joining me. We've just got less than a minute, so if it cuts short, then so be it. So we'll skip on to. So, how can you get in touch? Where can you find us? Our email address is lowercase fplaffairs@gmail.com. On X, our user handle is at fplaffairs. Facebook, the group link is in our description on the YouTube video channel. And alternatively, you could search the Facebook group for FPL Affairs. We should pop straight up. Our YouTube channel is /at FPL Affairs, and the Spotify links are generally found at the bottom of the video, or on Spotify you could search up FPL Affairs. There may still be time to join our leagues if you haven't already. The Classic League code is 12RRCG, or the Classic code is lowercase I6NQNB. Unfortunately, the head-to-head league is now closed as the season has started. Final thought on game week 4?
Yeah, well, like I said in the last video, it's oh god, light's gone out as well. It was a game
That'll
week
be
to
for the
forget,
video.
but game week 5, wild card. Yeah, I'm coming back.
Ooh, fighting talk from the FPL Affairs Peacock there. Typically had to squeeze in the final line of the episode before the recording got cut. Anyway, all that's left to say, I think, is keep your FPL Affairs under wraps until Saturday morning's deadline. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.